A utilities worker in California has been fired from his job after cracking his knuckles and subsequently being accused of flashing a white supremacist sign out of his car window. And right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the single dumbest sentence I have ever had to say in the nearly half a decade that I've been making these videos. And I wish that I could say it's satire. It's not. Emmanuel Cafferty, a now former San Diego Gas and Electric employee, said he was just sitting at a stoplight near a Black Lives Matter rally and had his hand hanging out of his truck window and was cracking his knuckles when, completely unbeknownst to him, a complete and total stranger pulled up alongside of him and snapped this photo. That picture was then uploaded to social media, where the guy who took it accused Cafferty of making a white power sign with his fingers, a gesture also known as the OK sign. Now, if you're unfamiliar with it, it looks a little something like this. Which was apparently all it took for this person to determine that Cafferty was a violent racist bigot who hates minorities and probably burns crosses in his front lawn while dancing around in a bedsheet. And as if it could not possibly get any dumber than that, did I mention that Cafferty is Mexican-American? Unfortunately for Cafferty, who was completely unable to defend himself in the court of public opinion, that photo went viral before finally landing in the hands of his employer. He said that as soon as the photo was taken, completely without his knowledge, again, his supervisor pulled him aside and told him that he was suspended and was being investigated over the incident. Then a few days later, he was fired. But Cafferty now says that not only was he not making a deliberate white power sign while sitting at a stoplight all by himself, because why would you? He didn't know anything about this allegedly offensive hand gesture until he lost his job over it. Now, if that's not enough to make you want to throw in the towel on humanity, this last tidbit might just send you over the edge. NBC7 says that they reached out to the man who originally posted the picture on Twitter. He's since deleted his account and told reporters he may have gotten, quote, spun up about the whole thing, and probably misinterpreted Cafferty's hand gesture altogether. But of course, a lot of good that does the poor guy who's lost his job over it. And unfortunately, it looks like crazy is more contagious than corona, because the local authorities in Oakland, California have also lost their minds. Okay, so that's not really a huge surprise, but it's gotten worse. A lot worse. Apparently, the powers that be in Oakland have decided that any ropes hung from trees, be it for a jungle gym obstacle course, exercise equipment, or even a child's swing, constitute a hate crime and are racist. Or at least so says Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf, a white woman, who said she contacted the FBI after several ropes were seen hanging around a neighborhood around Lake Merritt. Because according to liberal Libby,
the intentions do not matter because the harm is real.
Except that that's exactly what matters. In fact, intentions are just about the only thing that matters, given that the whole premise behind a hate crime is the targeting intentions of the perpetrator. Which brings us to the reason people had been hanging ropes from their trees in the first place. And hint, it doesn't have anything to do with racism. One Oakland resident said that he hung the rope weeks ago for exercise and games. Other community members gave police similar statements, saying that the ropes were hung up for their kids to play on. Now, given that the children have been out of school for months and cooped up at home with no public parks or playgrounds to visit, this would seem to make all the sense in the world. But it gets better. Victor Sangby, a black man, said that he hung a rope to attach a homemade swing for his kids.
He likes to climb things. He climbed up that tree, put another rope here, put another swing there. The children are having a good time with it.
Even still, the Oakland Police Department said in a statement that the ropes have been removed and that they are investigating the incident as a potential hate crime because the impact of seeing ropes hanging from a tree branch, however obviously innocent, can, quote, harm our communities. Perhaps they should start their investigation by having the white lady mayor ask the black man why he intentionally hung a racist lynching noose for his kids to play on. I, for one, am interested to hear that answer. So there we have it, y'all. Cracking your knuckles and hanging a rope swing for your kids now lands you in the fine company of crossburners and skinheads. Because in lefty Looneyville, everything is racist. But you know what's actually racist? This. Progressive activists in Seattle's autonomous zone have set up an entire section in a park for blacks only. Oh no, you did not hear that wrong, and I didn't misspeak. Progressives, who are supposedly fighting against racism, set up racially segregated areas where people are forcibly and deliberately separated by their skin color.
This space is right now held for just black folks.
Oh, just black, okay.
Yeah.
So, full black, you're saying?
If you have black ancestry, or if you have experienced oppression because you are black, then you can enter this space.
So a Mexican-American man cracking his knuckles in his car is racist. A black man hanging a rope swing for his kids is racist. But a bunch of white liberals cordoning off a blacks-only park is not? And this is what leftists think makes sense. This is the bizarro land these people live in. This is why an actual discussion about racism, inequality, and justice is not possible in this country. Because as pessimistic as that might sound, we aren't dealing with rational people who think and speak according to logic. They clearly would not know racism if it showed up with a pitchfork and beat them upside the head with it. They demand constant penance, but they aren't at all interested in reconciliation. These aren't serious people with serious proposals, and neither are the elected officials who kowtow to them to score cheap social justice points. And you can bend over backwards apologizing for things that you didn't do and trying to appease this mob, and it will not matter because they want to be offended. And nothing you do will ever be enough. And that's your Reality Check America. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, like us on Facebook and Twitter, and stay sane out there.